Men that have been sexually assaulted by men. What happened and how do you cope with it? Passed out at a friend's house after a party. Woke up with a dude's hand down my pants. Basically chased the guy while beating him out of the housing down the street. Found out later he's a grade school teacher. I used to work at Papa John's. I had a manager that used to be a drug dealer. He didn't have a place to stay, so he slept in the office of this particular franchise. See, I was a quiet, introverted 19-year-old, and him and his underlings always thought it was funny to mess with me, because I wouldn't react. One day it went further than usual, and got really uncomfortable. I was on the pizza production line when he comes up close behind me, pulls me into his chest and whispers, "You like this, don't you?" into my ear. After what felt like an eternity, he pulled away and laughed, slapping my ass before he went back to work. No, I did not enjoy that. If I ever see you again, you'll walk away with less teeth. Fuck that guy. You can probably sue for that. Mine's definitely not as bad as it could have been, but the next door neighbor kid, who was a few years older than me, was always sexually charged. I was about 10, he was about 13 to 14. Always had a magazine cutout of porn in his pocket. Made really bad jokes about sex, especially to a kid my age, and was always just basically a dick. One day we were playing it on the trampoline when he wanted to try a wrestling move on me. I obliged. I loved wrestling. He got me in a headlock and just full-on grabbed my junk and squeezed. I screamed. He got scared and ran home. I told my mom, who went and told his mom, who went and basically beat his ass on the front lawn while we walked back home. He moved away shortly after this. Didn't hear from him for almost 10 years. Ran into him at a 7-Eleven. Asked me if I wanted to go to Wreck Beach, a nudist beach in Vancouver, with him and his uncle. I was about 18 at the time. Told him I was busy and never talked to him again. Oh God, sounds like he was abused or something as a kid. Yeah, definitely seemed that way. He lived alone with his mom. They moved from far away after his dad got divorced. I'm assuming something happened before he moved next door. Near miss? I was 15, working at a movie theater. I was 5 feet 2 inches. Before my growth spurt that would give me another foot in height. First day of work. Projectionist is super friendly and invites me up to the projection booth. I demurred. Manager asked me if projectionist had invited me up already. I said, yes. He looked at me and said, "Don't," with a weird look in his eye. Not that it matters, but the manager was gay and a good guy in looking out for me. I don't understand this. Why would they keep the projectionist? It was 1972. The fact that the manager warned me at all was woke as fuck for the era. I was young. My mom died when I was 11 and he babysat me till my dad came home until I was old enough to stay alone. A combo of therapy, a loving wife, and Budweiser helped. He died when I was in college. I never told anyone until my wife. Good riddance. I had a high school buddy fondle me through my clothes, stare at my naked body, and grab my dick for a handjob, while I was shit-faced and saying no. 3 high school friends, Z, J, and Joe, and I were having a liquor drinking party one night at Z's house. I got really drunk. While I was squatting, trying not to puke, Joe comes up behind me and cups my junk. I assumed it was just a prank and we laughed it off. I ended up puking and getting it in my hair and clothes. So when we went back inside, I needed to shower and rinse off before getting into the spare bed. Drunk me was having trouble getting out of the shower, so I just sat there to try and sober up a little. Z and J sent Joe to check on me. Joe comes in without saying anything, pulls the curtain back and just stares at me until Z and J come to see what was taking so long. There were 2 beds. Z and J took one, so I was stuck with Joe in the other. I really just want to go to sleep. Joe puts his arm over me, starts a caressing sort of motion, and I roll over some more and tell him to stop it. Next thing I know, his hand slides into my underwear and he starts furiously trying to jack off my limp dick. Only thing my exceedingly drunk self could do was roll off the bed, hitting the floor hard, then roll under the bed and bring the blanket with me to make a shitty barrier. I didn't tell Z and J everything that happened until a couple of weeks later. So next time we organized a drinking party, we told Joe it was his turn to supply the drinks. Joe went and brought about $200 of various drinks. We let Joe in to put the drinks down, then told Joe to get the fuck out and not to come back because of what happened last time. Man, reading this makes my blood boil. You were supposed to be able to trust you friends. That fucker straight up sexually assaulted you while you were drunk. I'm sorry this happened to you. I hope he got his ass beat for that. Well, we didn't beat his ass, but he lost his entire clique of friends in one fell swoop. And $200. I'm in the Air Force. There were 3 of us at the smoke pit smoking and sing. One of them, a very large guy, says he bets me he can grab my dick and I wouldn't be able to fight him off. I tell him to fuck off. He starts trying to. The other guy, thinking it was apparently a joke, grabs my arms to stop me from pushing him away. He tried to reach down my pants to do so, but eventually just settled for doing it through the pants. I coped with it for a while by telling myself it was just a joke and I was being a loser for not thinking it was funny. Took a while to really recognize that jokes like that, or the gay chicken shit, isn't actually cool if both people aren't engaging, in that it was absolutely assault. I wish I had said something back then. I'm sorry this happened to you. You're supposed to be able to trust your fellow airmen. My first SGT in the Army liked to feel up all the new incoming soldiers, myself included. He is now on a sex registry for molesting some boys he coached in a Little League baseball team. Monsieur, yes, he was reported many times. No, nothing ever happened while in the military. I cope by doing as many drugs as I can get my hands on. Consider therapy, not drugs. Yeah, that too. Not sharing what happened for the perverts out there. I cope with it by putting it away, not denying it to myself or others, but rather just accepting that it happened and that it's okay. It's gone. I was a victim of abuse, but I'm not anymore. All is good in my world. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.